to a show.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Off the Mats podcast, and it's me. It's always Dante. It ain't gonna be anyone else but Dante, so it's me. This week's guest is a returning guest. I noticed as I was looking at the recent listens and downloads, this previous guest just flew to like the second all time, like just out of the blue. Like, he was holding a steady pace, and then suddenly I look up one day, he was number 7 in the top 10. I look up again, he was at 5. I was like, okay, top 5 solid. Now he's number 2. So y'all apparently have been clamoring for Mr. Joe Huggins. Welcome back, my friend. What's going on?
Hey man, thanks for having me, which I'm really surprised by that, by the way, because I really don't, I enjoyed my last visit, but I don't think I said anything that significant. Maybe I did, and I've been pretty inactive on the martial arts scene the last couple years, so it's not like, I'm like, got anything coming up, but, I appreciate the love, and I appreciate being here.
No, thank you for doing this. And it wasn't a weird thing to me, kind of in that thing, like, that's weird. It was more like, that's weird. What's going on with this episode? I played it back, and it was a good episode, but my whole thing is like, who caught it? Caught fire with somebody, and then word of mouth. So,
but honestly, I like that, because it was just me talking about my interest, and just me and you just having a good time.
And I think that's the important thing, is just being genuine and just being a person. So, but how's everything been?
Things are good. Like I said, despite the tumultuous environment that COVID presents us with. Work is good, training is good, still on my jiu-jitsu grind. Like I said, just chopping away at it, competing here and there, not teaching as much, but still trying to stay active, and stay in there with all my buddies who are doing great things right now.
Gotcha. I hear that completely. And thanks for being accommodating. I haven't, for the listeners, I don't know for certain. I may have COVID. I don't know. I have all the earmarks of COVID, I felt fine earlier, but I had like kind of a runny nose and a cough. And I was like, I might have a cold. Let me say to Joe, this is your choice. You can come over. It might be a cold. It might be worse. So it's your choice. And I'm glad that we're doing this remotely, because I'd feel horrible if it is that I can't get a test anywhere. I've been trying to get a test.
It's so hard right now. Like, you can't go anywhere, and like even the at-home tests are almost sold out everywhere.
Yeah, I was looking around, and I think the soonest I can get a test is next Thursday.
Yeah, like everybody I know has to wait at least a week and a half now to be seen.
I think I'll be fine. I feel fine. I just, like I said, I got a little bit of a fever, and muscle soreness, but thanks for being flexible. So
and I'm not too concerned for myself. I've been pretty lucky and resistant as far as COVID's concerned, but I do live with people, I work with people. I don't want to put anybody at risk, despite anybody's stance on the current environment.
Same. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not worried about me. I feel pretty confident, but I'm worried about spreading. So enough of that. Like, no sob stories for me. I made choices. Before we started recording, we were talking about Dan Hardy and GSP, that fight.
Yeah, I'm 5th round right now. He's going for a leg lock.
Dan Hardy is a different, like, MMA. It's still fun. It's a lot of fun, and it's very interesting. But back in those, like the mid 2000s, like 2000, I want to say 6, right after the Ultimate Fighter hit in 05, like that 2006 to like 14.
That's where most of my favorite fighters come from, during that era.
Yeah. They were just built different then. It's like a lot of the fighters coming up now, they've had time to kind of build into it and grow with it, whereas these fighters, they were learning on the job, and
Yeah,
it's tough.
you can say that those guys in the early 2000s era were more still pioneers, even though UFC and MMA had been around way before that. There were still pioneers in there. Whereas, like, the guys that are coming out today, they're younger. They've been watching what it takes to get there. They're more well rounded. Like, it's really hard to be competitive nowadays because everybody is just chomping at the bit and everybody's trying to, like, be the best they can be. So like, it's not like the old days where you can throw in some gloves and hop in there, pray for, a miracle. You got to know what you're doing before you even get close.
Right. Back in the day, it used to be, they'll call Tank Abbott up. He's in the bar drinking, like, "Hey, can you fight tonight?" He just show up. Now it's
Exactly. Yeah, you can't do that now, man. Everybody's ready. Everybody's training. Like, bro, even the concept of, like, when I was coming up, my old coach, I still was brought up under the concept of, like, fight camps. You kind of coast, and then about 6 to 8 weeks before your fight, you get ready for that. Now, like, no, there is no fight camp. You just stay ready all year long. And I mean, that's why we do it at Crazy 88 now. Our MMA team, like, there's no fight camp. You work hard and you train every single day, and then once you get your call, you're ready to go.
Yeah, it's like every time I look up, there's someone there fighting. It's like, damn, didn't they just fight like a month ago? Like,
bro, man, these guys are so hungry, and like I said, Crazy 88 has a long history of guys, fighting MMA, but I think with Coach Sebastian and, especially getting Matt Simmelsberger into the UFC, that gave us a lot of momentum and a lot of push, and now everybody's like just elevating and moving forward.
Yeah, I think that's an important thing too, is just having that momentum and that hunger. So 88 is, I sit here and I talk about 88 all the time to people, and it's like, I know it's bragging and it's biased because it's my team.
Yeah.
But I think discounting one other team here in Maryland, which we're affiliated under anyway, I think 88 is the best MMA / jiu-jitsu gym in Maryland. So,
and honestly, like, I consider it all the same. 88 still reps the TLI Bulldog. Like, we're all the same team, same family. Like, I consider us all,
it's all one big thing. So, but yeah, back then the guys were built different. They just came out with this different hunger where, back then you had champions that were long-standing champions. I mean, Anderson, GSP,
Jose Aldo.
Yeah, Aldo. Heavyweight was a little different, but Aldo, Dominic Cruz, Ronda Rousey. Everybody was kind of they held those belts for a while. Now it's like rotating.
It's changing hands like every other week.
Yeah, it's like I'm honestly, I couldn't tell you who all the champs are. And it used to be I knew all the champs. I knew their records.
You can name them off, one by one. But again, because I don't get to, most of the time when I watch fights, it's a rerun. And I don't get to watch them day of just because of work and everything. But yeah, it's like, hold on, wait, didn't so and so just have the belt? Like, and so it's changing hands again. But that's what I like to see. People aren't getting stagnant and people are staying hungry.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. It keeps the champion on their toes. Because I mean, there was a point with Anderson where he was legitimately just cruising. He'd show up and see what Matrix bullshit he could do and do it. Where GSP, he'd come in there, and GSP was always like a worker. He always he like. I know people have their opinions about John Jones, but both those dudes are animals, and they did their homework.
Even in their, like, air quote, old age, they're still hungry. They're still getting after it. John Jones is still signed. GSP is 40. He's still active. He's making that Disney money now, so he might just stay, acting. But
hey, I mean, if you don't got to do it, don't.
Yeah.
But there are guys that do it for the love though too. So but I don't know if he's at that point anymore. So yeah, go ahead and keep doing Captain America movies, and I'll keep watching them.
I'm actually a really big fan of the MMA journeyman. Like they might not ever like take the Diaz brothers. They're
Yeah.
probably they were never like championship holders but they're household names. Everybody loved watching them fight. Everybody loved watching them go to battle because they're entertaining and they just love the sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a lifestyle for them. There's plenty of other fighters I can name and rattle off, but like I really enjoy that aspect when it's not about the fame, it's not about the money, being on TV, all that stuff. Man, all that stuff's great, and if you can set yourself up and provide for your family and make a couple bills off of it, great. But I'm more interested in the dude where like, yo, this is my life, win or lose, mansion, a small ass apartment, like this is what I do. I'm a fighter.
Dustin Poirier was on Fightville on MTV years ago at the beginning of his
Yeah.
career, and watching that dude come up and then seeing where he is now, and it breaks my heart, that he couldn't get the title, but he's that guy though. He comes up, he loves fighting.
Yeah, and
And
I think people are going to love him anyway because not only he comes up short, he's still gracious. He donates a majority of his money to charity. He's all about he's a pretty selfless guy in my opinion. I don't know him personally or anything, but from what I can tell, he's a genuine dude.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the weird things with MMA and jiu-jitsu. Even you have guys that are behind the scenes really good dudes. Kobe Covington comes to mind, but then they put on that front and everyone hates them. But you watch the Kobe coaching guys and talking to guys backstage, and he's a sweetheart. And it's like I understand why he does it, but then you got Dustin, who's just a good guy up front, behind the scenes, everywhere.
It's funny you say that. I'm actually I hate myself for saying this, but I'm actually starting to find love for Jake Paul because he's doing a lot of good for the sport in general. He's making money for himself, for other people. He's challenging fight promoters to take better care of their fighters. And at the end of the day, again, his persona, again, I don't know him personally, but I feel like his persona is an act. He might be a great dude, behind the scenes. From what I know, he takes care of all his people. He's pushing for fighters' rights. He's donating part of his money. He's hooking up, all these other guys that like choose to fight him. And so say he's cherry picking, he's not fighting real fighters. What are you doing?
I mean, honestly, even with that though, whether he's cherry picking, whatever, if they're bringing in revenue and they're paying the guys,
people are watching the sport.
Like, I don't see the problem. And I will admit, I have my on and off days with them. Some days I hate them, some days I love them. It just depends on which way the wind blows that day. But lately, it's been kind of a what, he's not wrong by any means. So I run with that dude.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't paid for one of his pay-per-views yet, but I support the movement.
Yeah, I mean, whenever he fights, I turn on Instagram, I see who's streaming, and I hook it right up to the TV, and then we sit here and watch it, and then we critique it, and then we say, you know what? But what the fuck do we know? Like my friend over here, he's just a guy who drinks beer, and I'm a grappler. I don't know nothing about boxing, so, but it's still fun to talk shit.
Yeah, if he fights an active MMA fighter, I don't really care about the promotion. I might pay for that. If he signs to fight an active MMA fighter, I would pay and watch that.
I think Scott Coker said he would love to have Jake Paul do a fight over there, and I'm here for it.
Yeah,
because I think it might be Logan who wrestled. I don't know. One of them wrestled, so I think it would be interesting to see them get in there because kicks are a different thing. That's a different vehicle, and I'd just be interested in seeing how does he handle a leg kick? How does he handle a body kick, for that matter?
Because most people crumble, man, at a well-timed liver kick or calf kick, or
I remember I was taking your Muay Thai class, and I lightly bumped shins with Colin. Lightly. Like,
yeah.
I don't think he knew it happened.
You the one that broke his leg? No, I'm just joking.
No, I barely, like, I was hurt for 3 weeks. So, and kicks are different. So,
Yeah.
but I'd be interested in seeing Jake Paul go to Bellator. If he and Dana squash their beef over cocaine and steroids, I'd love to see him come to the UFC. Take on CM Punk. I think he's still under contract.
I'd watch that. Actually, again, CM Punk's another one. I didn't really care about him when he first, came on the, MMA scene. I was like, whatever, all these WWE guys. But he's been another one that's been true to the sport, and like he wasn't a poser. I fuck with him now. Sorry for the language. I don't know.
What's that?
Language. I don't know if I'm supposed to censor myself.
Nah. I think someone sent me a comment last week after the Spider-Man episode and said, I think Dante cursed more than I do. And I was like, damn, dude, really? Like, I thought I was pretty tame that night. But again, I think that was Saturday night I recorded it. I had a couple glasses of wine in me. So
you don't know how many F-bombs, whatever you're dropping after you had a few.
Yeah. Sometimes it's intentional too. I try to just squeeze them in there for funsies at that point. And it's like, you know what? Fuck Spider-Man. It's like, damn, dude.
Sentence enhancers.
We love Spider-Man. Speaking of which, we're rocking the Miles Morales shirt. And I feel bad because I just did a Spider-Man episode, but I wouldn't feel right having you on here and not talking about No Way Home.
Man, this is my jam. I love all this nerd stuff.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because I had Mahoney on here over the summer, and as we're talking, once we got to the end, we started talking gamer stuff, and I was like, "Oh, we should have opened with this."
Yeah.
So,
nah, man, you really want to get Mahoney? Get him with Lord of the Rings. He can go hours with that, man.
Oh, okay.
That's his jam.
Actually, I'm trying to have him back on at the end of the month, so we'll talk a little.
Yeah, hit him with some Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings, and he'll have some material for you.
So I'm actually going to go back and watch Game of Thrones because I always watched it, but it wasn't to watch. It was just my wife had it on, so I'm just in the room. And I feel like I owe it to at least try to care about the show and understand because what are there, 7 seasons?
8. But the last 2 don't really count.
So 6. But it's like every time I watched it, I was like, okay, this is cool, but I'm not married to these things. So I'm gonna try to sit back, watch those, and I'll probably have Mahoney on at that point. Like, all right, open the show up, Game of Thrones, go. But yeah, for Spider-Man. So, how many times did you tear up during it?
At least twice. Am I allowed to drop spoilers, or am I trying to be vague? Or
I did a full episode last week about just spoiling everything. So if people are this far in,
it's been a couple weeks now. I mean, I feel like the spoiler grace period's over.
Yeah, we extended it an extra week just because, but now it's on. Just say everything. Tell them that Green Goblin cut Aunt May's head off twice, and just put down the street. Just say all the shit.
Nah, man, but the I teared up because I like the twist they did. I mean, I kind of saw it coming. I was like, Spider-Man's got to lose somebody. Spider-Man is always losing people. He has to, otherwise he's not Spider-Man. So I like the twist they did with, they went with Aunt May instead of Uncle Ben. And then a really big emotional part for me was when Andrew Garfield, his Spider-Man, caught Zendaya off the scaffolding. I was like, man, and like, bro, he started tearing up, and I'm like, don't you do it, Joe. I started tearing up, and then
I looked at the dude sitting next to me, super defensive, because I was ready to fight. Because I started tearing up, and I was like, yo, let this big motherfucker say something.
Like, let's go. Say something.
I'm ready. But I looked over, he was sniffling. I was like, okay, we're in the same boat right now. But yeah, that redemption point, that was huge. So any fill-ins on where you think this goes or want it to go?
Where I want it to go. So after watching it and analyzing, the after credit scenes and everything, I'm really excited that they're going to bring the symbiote, into the universe. It's kind of cool how they did that. You know, they're like, all right, we'll bring Tom Hardy. I'm psyched. Take him out. Leave a little bit of symbiote behind. Now, my question is it gonna go straight to Spider-Man? Are we gonna see maybe Flash Thompson? Which I really don't like this iteration of Flash in the. I really don't think he'd be a good Venom. So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I'm excited to see that happen. I want to see more Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, which after the movie, there was a big petition for an Amazing Spider-Man 3. But now I hear that he may make a cameo in the Morbius movie. So I'm excited for that.
So, yeah, Morbius got delayed to April 1st.
Yeah.
And they're saying COVID. I'm saying reshoots and add in maybe post-credit stuff. But Andrew Garfield being in that universe with Morbius and Venom. So it's weird because the big question is, where's Morbius? What universe? Because we've seen in the trailer Vulture.
Mm-hmm.
They've mentioned Venom.
But you also see Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, if I'm correct.
Yeah, yeah. There's a poster in the background somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if this movie is supposed to kind of take place in the middle of all this multiverse chaos. So
yeah,
it could be one of those. I mean, we'll know on April 1st, but it is kind of disheartening because I don't really go to the theater, but I was kind of planning to go to see this.
That's my issue with Sony. Ever since 2020, everybody's made it so, convenient to just watch new releases at home. I did that with, Mortal Kombat, The Matrix, a bunch of the Disney stuff that came out. And, I just got really used to that because I don't got to pay for lines. I'm not paying, overpriced concessions. Like, I'm at home, got my own booze, got my own food. Like, I don't need to go to the theater. But now it's like, but all stuff that I really want to see is they're holding it at the theater. I gotta leave my house now.
So I'm doing a horror movie podcast, and by the time this episode comes out on Monday, the horror movie podcast would have come out. So that's the start of that. And I have to watch the Scream franchise for episode 3. And I want to see Scream 5. So that way we could talk about that on the show. But again, I'm not crazy about theaters. I'm not crazy about really human interaction. I went to the Ravens game over the weekend, and the only thing I kept thinking is like, there's so much humanity here. Like, can I leave? And then, but Morbius, I was kind of thinking, I was like, you know what? I can go. I'm off on Wednesdays. I can go at 10 in the morning, catch this movie. Probably very few people there. Scream, I'm probably going to do that. The Batman, probably going to do that for that movie. So plan.
Because I think when I went to go see Spider-Man, it was like 10 o'clock on a Saturday, and it was still pretty empty.
So we used to do movies like that, Sarah and I. We would always go on a Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. Just it was hardly anyone at Arundel Mills. This time, for Spider-Man, I had to go Thursday night or Thursday afternoon, actually, because I was not taking any chances with spoilers. I didn't want to hear shit. I wanted to see it myself. And normally I don't care about spoilers, but this one, it meant something to me.
Yeah, this one I went ahead and just jumped on it the moment I could. I didn't want to wait around and have to, dodge around on social media not to get it exposed. Like, I'm going to just get it out the way.
Someone posted a meme, I think it was Monday, and it was a picture of Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. It was a jiu-jitsu related meme, and I commented and I said, damn, dude, I guess you were serious about that 2-week window. And he was like, yeah, I told them they have until this day before I post these spoilers. And someone jumps on and comments, what did he say? Thanks for ruining Spider-Man for me, unfollowing this guy. So I replied to that guy. I was like, it's weird that you have to tell him that you're unfollowing him. Just unfollow him. Don't let him know. Just stop following him.
People always have to have this grand exit on social media and announce their presence, either when they're coming or going.
It's like, so many people tell me on BJJ Wiki, I'm done following this account. It's so trash now. I was like, bitch, go. Oh fuck.
Bye.
Like, as a matter of fact, I'll block you first.
I just don't have the energy to argue on social media. Like,
Yeah.
if I'm going to take the time to discuss anything with you, I'm going to do it in person, one. And then
Mhm.
two, like, I'm not going to hide behind my keyboard. Like, man, I remember, one of the various, like, nerd groups I'm in, it was a meme relating Emperor Palpatine to the Queen of England. And I made some comment joke about, yep, America, colonizing everywhere since this date. And everybody's like, hey, don't forget, we British were the first to colonize people. We're the true tyrants. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was a contest on how awful we could be as a country. My bad. And I had
Wow.
all these people hit me up, and I'm like, bro, one, this is stupid to argue about. Two, I'm not going to do it on Facebook. Like,
The only time I've gotten into it back and forth with somebody, at least recently, I posted right before Connor fought Dustin the second time. Connor did an interview, and he goes, I only count knockouts. I don't count anything else. So technically, I only have one loss. And I put up
that's how that works.
I put up a meme of it, and someone commented. This was on TikTok. Somebody commented and goes, "Yeah, but he didn't actually say that." So I replied back, "But he actually did." And then he comments back, "No, he didn't." So me being the gentleman that I am,
Oh, please continue.
I actually had the video from the interview. So I went ahead and posted the video and made sure to tag the dude. So here's the actual words coming out of his actual mouth, just so you know, because he did actually say that. No reply from him. I guess not, because he's got egg on his face now,
Yeah.
and that's fine. Just don't be a dick. Otherwise, I don't get into it with people because it's keyboard warriors. I don't have the energy, and also I start to look at accounts. When someone comes on my account and says something shitty, I go to their account and see, oh, private. Oh, they don't even have a profile picture. You have a troll account. You're probably somebody that's already one of my friends anyway. So we're going to go ahead and block this right now. You got to make another account. So it's fucking nonsense. But I think when it really boils down to spoilers and when you should talk about anything, I don't think anyone should have to dodge the internet, but I think we also should understand that people are going to be excited. People are going to post about it. Should you have to dodge it? No, but you should be aware and responsible for yourself. So that being the case, I want to see Spider-Man right away.
Homeboy was nice. I think 2 weeks, with no spoilers is a long time. I've like 70, 72 hours, and a week if I like you.
So for Nerd Rage, normally we do the weekend. We give you until Monday. We know not everybody has that time, but we still try to give you until Monday before I post something on their Facebook. But for Spider-Man, I haven't posted anything to their Facebook about Spider-Man No Way Home at all, period. I just felt like it wasn't, I don't feel like hearing it. And also, I do actually get into it with the guys on that page because every so often, Bobby does the Skull Fest, like the big party. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yes, I hope they're there. Not that we're going to fight, but it's like, I want to see the reaction if one of those guys are there. I don't think the troublemakers have ever really been invited. Most of the guys that are invited are all the really nice fans, I guess, friends. But there are a few people that every so often they like to get on there and flap their jaws, and it's like, boy, I will fucking rip your jaw off. Like
literally.
It will not be a choke. It will definitely be a crank, and it's going to hurt. But then I also have to remember, it's like, dude, like that's an assault. You gotta chill. So
it's the lines are so fine out here, man, especially in the great state of Maryland. But no, I was actually on social media earlier today, and I mean, we can all guess, what thread I was watching, but the topic was veganism. And so, like I said, whenever I see, certain people arguing on this topic, I stop whatever I'm doing. I read the whole thread, get my popcorn ready. I love it.
I mean, it's like that's a topic. Well, that and carnivore, I like to jump into those comment sections now because it's just so entertaining. I had a girl on, I think episode 14, maybe 50, like early on, and we're talking about the carnivore diet. And I still follow her, and every so often I look at her page, and she'll put up stuff like kale isn't a superfood, and just all these things bashing vegetables. And I'm like, did the carnivore diet come from like a 2-year-old who didn't want spinach one day, and then he grew up and he held tight to that until his adulthood and just said one day, fuck you, I'm not eating broccoli at all. I'm eating nothing but meat. And it's like, damn, dude. It's like he held on. Like, I mean, that's usually my diet for the most part, but Jesus Christ, dude, I take a break sometimes. But
well, my thing is, in this day and age, everybody has their lifestyle or their interest or whatever they believe in, and they defend it with all their heart, all their strength, and are so quick to like preach and scream out tolerance. And I'm like, well, aren't you kind of being intolerant by not allowing people to have opposing views to you? And it's not any one specific group. I feel like it's most of these, people that are screaming to be heard and screaming for tolerance and everything nowadays. I don't care who you are, black, white, purple, gay, straight, vegan, carnivore. Like, nobody's willing to just let people believe what they want to believe, Talk about if they're right. Guess what? It's my right to disagree with whatever you're saying, and we can just leave it at that.
I mean, if someone comes to me and says, hey man, I don't like the fact that you wear black. You like to wear black. That's dumb. I'm not going to defend it. I'm just like, okay, cool. You don't have to like it. You also don't have to.
There's no point in defending that argument.
I put up a post the other day, and I didn't think anything of it. I truly, it was like maybe I put it up at like midnight on Tuesday, something crazy, and it was a girl in competition. She used a muffler to get the girl to expose her arms, and then she wristlocked the girl for the win. Jesus Christ, dude! I went to bed. I woke up to 171 messages, and it was.
I remember. I think I saw something along those lines.
It was just all arguments and fight, and I was like, Jesus Christ! It was so much I couldn't read. I couldn't. It was just too hard to keep up. And normally,
most overwhelming. Like you open your inbox and have an anxiety attack.
Yeah, I just couldn't keep up with it, and I was like, dude. And the one guy, he messaged me because he was going back and forth with everybody. Seth, who was on a couple episodes back, and he was cool about it. I told him, I was like, look, here's my stance on it. The move, she did it. They didn't disqualify her, so it's legal. It wasn't IBJJF, so I don't think a muffler is legal there.
Yeah.
But it was a local tournament. It's legal. She did it. She wrist locked.
Depends on the ref and how you apply it, but yeah.
Yeah. I didn't even know she wrist locked her. Like, I was like, what happened? And I had to watch it back like over and over. But so it was like, it happened. She won. People were crying, saying that's bullshit. It's illegal. It's not illegal if the ref didn't call it illegal. Now, do I think it's okay? I think it's kind of a dirty move. I wouldn't do it personally. Like if we're training in the gym and we're fucking around and you did that to me, I'd be annoyed, but I'm not mad. It's like, God damn it, dude. Like fuck it, because the thing is, I know it's coming. It's like I don't have to just sit there and let you smother me. I can move,
Right.
So, but the thing is, I wouldn't do it. I don't think it's cool. But the fact is, it was done. The girl won. I don't know why they're arguing with you.
I think that's along the same lines as those fighters who immediately start striking when your opponent is reaching out for the glove touch. Like it's a dick move for sure, but protect yourself at all times.
Yeah, I mean, Floyd did that. I can't remember who it was, but Floyd, dude, his gloves were down. He went to touch gloves with them. I guess there was like a headbutt or something goofy happened. Yeah. And then the dude went to touch gloves with Floyd, and Floyd clocked him. And people are like, that's a dick move. It's just not legal. It's like, no, it's legal. Protect yourself at all times. I mean, you know, if the ref didn't DQ Floyd, clearly it's illegal.
But honestly, that's how we're trained growing up. If I heard my coach tell me lots of times, stop apologizing in the room. Your partner is there the same reason you are. You can apologize after the match. During the match, you keep going until the ref or the coach stops you.
Yeah, and I have a bad habit of apologizing during. Well, it's gotten better, but I used to do that a lot. Like I would, and it wasn't anything like major. It was just like something silly. And what I've been telling myself recently when I do something is like, man, you signed a waiver, you be all right. So
yeah. Even when I roll against women with long hair or guys with long hair, they're gonna stop and fix it. You capitalize off that. It's not an illegal move, but guess what? You're gonna stop, take care of your hair, brush out your face. When you're not paying attention, I'm gonna do something. I'm sorry.
And it's a split second.
Yeah.
So I see people wipe hair from their eyes, and I'm like, that's all I need. As soon as I see that hand going up to wipe the hair or sweat, and I'm rushing in. And it's like, all right, you're getting a quick trip real quick, boom. But it's a dick move. But look, man, protect yourself at all times.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you do what you got to do to survive, to win, quote unquote.
Yeah, I mean, the argument I think people were making on the post was, well, why, if this is allowed, why not eye gouges? Because eye gouges are actually blinding somebody. This,
I'm not going to maim you for life. I'm just going to make you uncomfortable for a few seconds.
Yeah, and the thing is, she covered only her mouth. It wasn't like she cupped over her nose. It was only her mouth. I mean, the video was like the initial like choke, like it was just like for lack of a better term, I guess, like someone wrote rape choke, and then she went from that straight to the muffler. And as soon as the girl brought her arms up to block the hands from the muffler, she wristlocked her. I was like, damn, dude, that's like 3 levels of I don't fucking care about your feelings right there. So
it's a fight, and it's within the rule set. Go for it.
Yeah, the ref never DQ'd her. The ref never said anything about it. And, the question then becomes, after the fact, was it anything where maybe they, overturned the win? I don't think they did, because the person who posted it, was celebrating the person's win. So I don't, this was a while back. So I don't think it was.
You shouldn't overturn that.
No. I mean, again, if it's in the rules that they can't use a muffler, then sure. But it's not in the rules. I think, was it Grappling Industries up in PA? I went up there with Ronnie and Elliot, and I was looking at the rules on the wall. I was like, damn, wristlocks?
It's like, real different.
It was like, I don't know about this, because I got weak wrists.
It's funny. I had a very I guess egg on my face moment at the last Naga I went to, because the rule sets change, between competing Naga, Grappling Industries, IBJJF, whatever. And so I went in for no gi, and I didn't look at the rules beforehand. I thought I knew everything, and I didn't look at the rules for leg locks. I'm competing advanced blue belt. Everything goes in no gi. So, the guy pulls, we double pull. I end up in his butterfly. He is able to get my foot, and he reaps my knee. So I'm like, oh, game over. I won. He's DQ'd. And I look at the ref, and I was like, all right, dude. Like, what's up? And he just looks back at me, and I'm like, oh, shit. But it was too late. I got heel hooked.
That's got to be tough, because, again, like you said, in between the 3 organizations, the rules are different. So
yeah, because like I've seen people get DQ'd for similar things in different organizations, and I just got everything crossed. Again, that's just on me.
I mean, and that's the thing though too. You recognize that versus, being mad at them for it, because there are people that do that. They'll get upset at the organization, like these people in the comment section. They're upset. I don't know. Nobody said anything about the organization. They're mad at the girl, and it's like, I would look. Like I said, I wouldn't do it, but she got that win. Like there was a Naga where I think it was the first time I actually coached at a competition, which that was an experience. Like I was sweating bullets
Takes
sitting
a
up
lot out of
there.
you, man. I used to not be able to compete and coach kids in the same day. I get like so worn out from coaching the kids. The time is fine for me to compete. All my adrenaline is gone out the window. I spent it all like getting excited or frustrated, you know?
Um, they moved one of our girls up because I guess for her age bracket and weight, no, like her opponent didn't show up,
Yeah,
so
they just move you around.
they moved her up in age, and I think she moved up to teens, and they can do Kimuras there. Or no, I'm sorry, omoplatas, not Kimura. They could do omoplata.
Still for kids, omoplatas are dangerous.
Yes. So, and the thing is, she had not experienced this before. So when she got called in, and she was tough, she didn't tap. And the girl that she was actually going against, her coaches, and this kind of pissed me off, they were saying to her, break her arm. And the girl comes over. She won on points. She comes over and she, she hugged our girl and said thank you. And she was like, "Look, my team was telling me to break her arm, and I can't do that." And I was like, "Thank you for being a good person."
Yeah.
But
Also,
that's
it's a kids match. Like I understand if it's adults, yeah, we all say crazy shit and we all might mean it. But you don't say that to kids, man.
yeah. And the thing is, this was a weird situation for me because this is my first competition coaching, and I like to pride myself on being prepared for things, like knowing the rules, knowing, what's allowed and whatnot. But moving her up to the teens, I didn't even think about it because I just thought all kids are, equal, you know.
Yeah.
So, when it's happening, I'm thinking it's like, oh, that's not legal. And then, I look at her parents who train there with us, and it was like, she's never been in this.
You're like,
Like we've I don't know how to, like, shit. How do I coach her out of this? Um, it is. I mean, she's scrappy. She got out of it. Again, lost on points, not by much. I mean, it was close, but it was still a weird thing because the rules were just different. That's an important thing. Is just knowing the rules where you're going. So, it's key.
yeah. But like I said, I am I never want to be called out for being a BJJ bitch ass. I know when, like I said, that's on me. Not knowing the rules, that's on the competitors. That's not on the organization.
Like, I have my gripes with IBJJF, just because of having the colostomy. I asked
Well, yeah,
if I could wear a rash guard, and they're like, "No, wear a neoprene brace." I was like, "Okay, not exactly gonna work," because I actually do wear a neoprene brace, and it slides off every time.
yeah.
Uh, that's my only gripe with
Like, look,
IBJJF.
guys, I know what I'm capable of, and you don't want it. So just let me wear a fucking rash guard.
Yeah, like we could do one of two things. We could have me wear the neoprene brace; it could slide up, and there could be shit all over the mat. Gross.
Yeah.
Or here's a thought: just let me wear the rash guard. I get it. Like, people might question, like, why does he get to wear one and nobody else is
I
wearing
feel
one?
like there has to be some sort of like, bro, you don't have a fucking like there has to be an exception. Like I just feel like
Yeah,
that's kind of stupid to me.
honestly, at this point, it's not that big a deal. Like, this was early on when I was like, my heart was set on competing. I was like, what? I
Yeah.
want to do this again. I want to compete. Oh, DC Open's coming our way. Let me go ahead and like sign up for that. And then I'm looking at the rules. They're like, no rash guards for the men competitors under the gi. And I'm asking. I was like, well, what do I do? They're like, send them an email and ask for an exemption. They're like, I'll give them credit. They got back to me quick, like
Yeah.
within an hour, and they're just like, you know, um, we'll advise you just use a neoprene brace. And it's like, okay, that's I'm going to try it, and I did, and it was not successful.
To their credit, well, I mean, I don't know because they're a really big organization, but maybe they just don't run into this a lot.
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. It's like,
Maybe no one
either.
else with your situation is doing crazy shit like jujitsu.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of us out there. I've had some
Yeah.
messages from people when I did the video a few years back, which I keep meaning to do another one. I got to this point where my brain is like, I overanalyze it. So it's like if I do this video, because I was trying to do a video showing how to handle knee on belly
Yeah.
with wearing a colostomy bag, and I was overanalyzing it. I was like, you know what? Never mind. But there's a few guys out there, and I grew up playing football with it and basketball, so there's ways around it. It's just it is risky, and I would say any of us that are competing or doing sports where with the stoma, it's you're like a crazy person. But also, I know for myself, I know how to kind of protect it and take care of my stomach, so it's not that big a deal. Other than again wanting to keep it covered up. Um, I also think there has to be with IBJJF being as big of an organization as it is. I feel like they had to have run into this, and they probably
Yeah.
did. And that one person was like, "Oh, I'll just wear the neoprene brace," and they were fine. I was like, I'm proud of you, but
Everybody's different. I've seen
yeah,
people take off their prosthetics. Yeah, there's definitely people with like, whatever going on. Like, yeah, I've seen people with like palsy, like get on the mats and do what they got to do.
yeah, and I'm not making any excuse. I mean,
No,
they gave me they gave me the suggestion. I tried it. It's not working for me, so I'm just not going to do it. But if there's
yeah,
any gripe I have, that's my only gripe with them. I think they're a fine organization. I think the matches that take place are fucking awesome. I see them come across my Instagram. I need to get a Flow account so I could really, really get into it and
and if
start
anything,
watching them.
that's not a slight against you. I just feel like they would be towards their own benefit, for you to
Yeah,
wear a rash guard. He's
yeah.
like, guys, let me make it easy on you.
Like, give me the IBJJF rash guard. I will promote you while I'm doing this. And then
Yeah,
if I go out there, storm the gates, I win gold, take off my gi, show you the rash guard, show the stone, and be like, hey man, publicity galore. We'll
yeah.
we'll, we'll all be fucking famous because I shit out my stomach.
I'm
Uh,
here for it, bro.
um, you said you've been kind of like off the scene lately with everything like jiu-jitsu too, or just MMA?
More so MMA. Like I said, I have a full time job now, so that makes it hard to train like I used to train for MMA fights. So I still train jujitsu. My 3 to 4 days a week, 5 if I'm real lucky, and that's enough for me to like compete and stay active. But I'd have to make some major lifestyle changes if I plan on like making a run towards a world title or doing MMA again. So like I said, not impossible, and never say never. I'm just not at a spot in my life where I'm ready to drop everything and compete full time again.
Yeah, I think if you're going to be a fighter, you got to give more time than just a couple days a week.
Yeah.
So
Oh
like
no, it's if you choose to do it and do it for real, it's a job. Like there's no like it's really hard to balance. I have a girlfriend, I have a job, I have jujitsu. I gotta find a way to balance just those three. Let's not talk about trying to like, be a professional, fighter where like that's all I do is like pro jujitsu or pro MMA. Like it's a great opportunity and great grind. It's just not something that I can do right at this time right now.
I think also if you're gonna be a fighter, like you said, it's a full-time job, so it's like you're steadily monitoring every little thing, what you're eating, what everything that you're consuming, your training regimen. It's definitely not. It's not something you can
Yeah.
comfortably have a full-time job. I think Mighty Mouse did, but I think he liked his job. He was a fucking
Yeah.
UFC champ, and he
It's
stayed at
hard.
his
And like I
job.
said, with my job, I work nights. I'm dealing, booking DJs, liquor orders. Like I can't make it to the gym at night. I train in the morning. I get maybe 2 nights a week, but most of the time all my trainings during the daytime.
That's another thing too, though, because I've asked this before to people about training. It's like, when is the optimum time for you to train? When do you feel best? Morning, afternoon, or evening? And depending on, just how your lifestyle is, that could vary as well. And then what you've also kind of adjusted to and conditioned your body to and your mind to. So, with the schedule that you have right now, that works for what you're doing right now. But if you're to say, let's switch gears and go to fight, it's going to be an adjustment period.
I got to sacrifice some stuff, whether that be like a social life, pissing off my girlfriend, not being home as much, cutting back my hours at work. I'd have to sacrifice something,
Yeah. And that's a key word there too, is sacrifice. If you're going to do anything, I mean, anything period, there's got to be sacrifice of some sort.
Yeah, that's what makes it all worth it.
Like you either find a really, really weird balance or something's getting sacrificed. Like I think I have a relatively healthy balance, I think. But I don't know, if you hear my wife talk about it, she's probably like, no, you do too much with your podcast. This shit sucks. It's like, girl, you don't even listen to it. She's like, I do.
I will say you do kill the social media game. Like half the accounts I follow are run by you or like an affiliate or something.
I realized that the other day. I had to uninstall Instagram and I had to reinstall it. And I was like, damn, dude, I got 12 accounts.
Yeah.
Like, why do I have 12 accounts? And my wife asked me that. She goes, why do you have so many accounts? I was like, were you trying to catch me do something? Like, I have a bunch of accounts because I'm a lunatic.
Yeah.
Like, well,
it's just
honestly,
all your different facets of interest. Like you cater to like the masses.
Like the horror movie podcast has an Instagram. Yeah. I do the Columpton Social Club, which is our beer review podcast. And that was accidental anyway. Again, we were just sitting around drinking beer and talking shit. And we're like, what would you rate this beer if we had to rate it? And then it started off as rating one beer. And they're like, what we should do? I was like, let's do 2 beers per episode. And he kept showing up with 3 beers. I was like, I guess we're gonna rate 3 beers. That's okay, aggressive, but whatever. But no, it's like with doing every little different thing that I do personally, I do think there's a balance, but I'm not like heavy set into anything. Like again, with you competing in jiu-jitsu, that in itself is heavy. Versus if I'm competing in jiu-jitsu, I'm 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So, unless I'm willing to bring my daughter to class Tuesday, Thursday nights with me and keep her up until, 10, 11 o'clock at night.
That's what is she, 6 now?
6 this May.
Yeah.
That's her birthday.
And I remember when she was born.
Yeah. I mean, dude, she's a character and a half. She's like, I don't know, like every so often we're sitting around and she'll just turn to me. She's like, yo, my man. And I look, I was like, what did you just say to me? I said something to my wife and she screams like, LaDante. I was like, what?
Those Detroit roots coming out.
Yeah, well, we're at my wife's, we're at the in-laws house for Christmas Eve, and we're talking about my daughter liking hot sauce. And, the in-laws were like, what? And inside of me, I was like, yo, Detroit, son, that's what we do. Yeah. Like, remember, that kid is half me, half your daughter. And the half that she's getting from me, I mean, it's going to be wild. So I don't know. But yeah, she's a little character and it's weird because trying to bring her to the gym also, before bringing her to the gym, I can make her sit down and like hang out. Now, even though she's older, for some reason, it feels tougher to get her to stay stationary.
Yeah, her attention span's still kind of short. She just wants to be active, be doing something. Maybe not necessarily what doing on the mats, but she wants to be doing something. She don't want to just sit there,
Yeah. So, but if I said, hey, I want to compete, that would have to be a sacrifice. And honestly, it wouldn't be my sacrifice. It'd be my daughter's sacrifice, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then, all the other stuff that I do, sacrifices have to be made. So
right now you're still doing your weird, like goofy balance and it works for you. No need to, test the waters at this time,
Yeah. And I think too, I'm at the age where I have to ask myself, it's like, what's really important?
And that's the biggest thing, man. With this, with anything you do, like, the point when I got to the point where martial arts felt more like a chore and it wasn't necessarily making me happy anymore, that's when I kind of took a step back. I was like, this is supposed to be my safe place, this is supposed to be my happiness, my antidepressant, if you will. Like, it shouldn't be making me feel this way.
No, I agree. I think that's the key point too, is when it feels like a chore. If like, because there was a point where I would wake up, get ready for work, I grab my gym bag, I'd be at work, and then about midway through the day, it's like, damn, dude, I gotta go train.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have an off day and the day pulls it out of you, and you're just like, man, I just need to sit back and just chill out for a second.
Now, I will say this: last week, I trained Wednesday morning with Mahoney, coached the Wednesday morning class over at Elkridge.
Okay, yeah.
And Mark was there with me. And afterward, Mark and I hung out. We drilled. We took videos of some of the moves that we're drilling, and then we talked jiu-jitsu. We talked concepts.
I'm gonna go see those guys tonight and probably do the same thing.
And afterward, like, I messaged Mark and I was like, he actually just messaged me right before we started recording. Like, I messaged him afterwards, like, dude, that's what the fuck I was talking about. That's what I'm missing from jiu-jitsu. And I think part of what's happening with me is I'm rushing out of class because I got to get home. So right now, that's why it feels like a chore. I'm not able to just, after training, I was used to like sitting around and kind of talking shit, like talking jiu-jitsu. And now it's like, as soon as class is over, I got to go hop in my car with my sweaty ass gi or sweaty ass rash guard and speed home. So it's it's not fun. But that Wednesday class, it was a fun class. But also afterward, we got to talk jiu-jitsu, and I felt like, holy shit, this is what I was missing. I need to get back to this. So I got to make it a point to start getting back to those Wednesday classes and just trying to, absorb at least 10, 15 minutes afterward. So
yeah,
make it fun.
I feel like that's the key component, is the camaraderie. Because, like, if you just try to do jiu-jitsu on your own, it's overwhelming, it's hard work, it can suck. But the thing I learned from the military is that, like, my patriotism, my sense of duty, service, yeah, that's all great. But the people that got me through were the people right next to me having, just a good time or bad time as me, It's nothing without people you can go through the shit with, Otherwise, it's just monotony.
Absolutely. That's always kind of been like the thing with football. It's like, you got a certain coach, they're going to coach you in a way where you're hating that shit. You're hating, the tour days. You're hating running hills. You're hating doing up downs. I don't know if what's the new term for it, but we used to do what we call
shuttle runs, I guess they're called now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. It's but we hated it, but it was like, we're there together. But not only are we out there doing it together as a collective and we all hate it, but when we go out there to win, and we win because of that shit, we all won together. And that shit's beautiful. So that I do love that about our gym too. We have a good, strong collective of like people that are just like invited and welcoming. It's like, I'm hardly ever there, but when I show up and I see guys like Navarro, Todd, it's like, and I see them maybe twice a year, 3 times a year. But when I see them, they greet me like, "Yo, what's going on?"
And
thank you.
That's the other thing I like about our gym, is that, like, all walks of life, man. You got IT guys, you got healthcare professionals, you got lawyers, cops, bums, hippies, like, all together, and none of that matters once you get on the mat. Like, all our differences go away. Fucking Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, we're all just there, like, just training together, because none of that matters.
And that's the thing. It's like, when you get on those mats, it's the only thing that matters is that you all have a common goal and you're all in this together. So, it's like, as long as we get out there, it's like, look, can you help me hit this Berimbolo? Like, no. All right. Well, we're going to work on it together. So, because you're all trying to learn the same thing. You have a path.
That's another interesting thing. You rolled me back in the day, and I was always the nitty gritty wrestler takedown guy. I am a guard pull, hip pinch, baby bolo motherfucker now.
Yeah, I pulled guard last Wednesday. Who did I pull guard on? I pulled guard twice actually, and it felt weird because I make so many jokes about it, but
Yeah.
in reality, I'm gonna pull guard. Like I'm not like I make it seem like I'm not gonna pull, but I'm definitely gonna pull. And I pulled, and then once it was in my guard, I was like, dude, that felt dirty. But I'm gonna sweep you now. But yeah, I remember back when I started, you're the guy that I wanted to roll with because it was like you're a younger guy, you're scrappy like me, and it was like, okay, I know that he's gonna go full clip at me, so I can go full clip at him. So let's just get it on now. Whereas there's some of the other guys that were older, and they weren't built for that. So it's like, and I was older too, but I was also, again, coming out of a football background, so I'm still in relatively decent shape, and I'm out there trying to do everything to win. So it's like, okay, as soon as I saw you, I was like, all right, this is the guy. Let's go. And it was always a treat. I remember I had a Kimura on you, and I got worried because you weren't tapping.
Oh, my shoulders are like super Gumby. I still don't tap to Umaplies and Kimuras.
I was so baffled because I was like, this dude is not his hand is touching the back of his head. He's not tapping. I was like, and I let go. I was like, fuck it. Like, I'm not gonna hurt my teammate, even though anybody else by that point they would have been hurt. So, like, in retrospect, now I have to like look back on things like, like, I guess that was kind of a dick move. My bad.
No, man, you're good. I was actually just out in Vegas at Masters Worlds last year, and similar thing happened. I was in my no-gi match. Dude put a Kimura on, had my hand touching the back of my head. I just smile at coach, give him a thumbs up. I get out, and then I choke the dude. And I'm not even one of those guys who's gonna like try and show out all the time. Like, the lower half of my body, my knees and ankles, shot. You touch them, I'm tapping immediately. Like, you don't even worry about that.
Yeah, as soon as anyone touches my foot, I'm like, you know what? You don't even got to get a lock. Just I'm gonna stop this now. Or Wristlocks. I have very sensitive wrist, like stupidly sensitive wrist, and Mark tried to wristlock me last time we rolled. So
I know how you feel about that because I try to throw it on you every now and then.
well, you tried to hit me with the one after you came back from Chicago with Pete the Greek.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
a lot of cool stuff.
I have some big emotions about that. So
let's rock the world, baby.
Yeah, I repost a lot of the wrist locks from him now because it's like, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. And
yeah,
it's just, I mean, again, it's legal. You can do it, but people hate it. So whatever. But we've been going for a little while here, about an hour.
Yeah, about an hour.
About an hour here. So I think it's pretty safe to start wrapping up here. Before we get out of here, one more thing back to Spider-Man.
Yes.
Because we're not done here yet. With them wiping everyone's memory of his existence as Peter Parker and Spider-Man being the same person. In the MCU, because there are rumors about contract extensions and this only, he only having one more film. Who knows what's really real?
Yeah.
We know the symbiote is there. With that being the case, are you more interested in a Tom Holland black suit symbiote trilogy or completing the Andrew Garfield trilogy?
Well, I think if symbiote comes into play in Tom Holland MCU universe, won't be a trilogy. They'll do one movie and then move on from there. If they do an Amazing Spider-Man 3, I'd like to see the symbiote. I don't think there's enough to do with, especially since we already have Tom Hardy Venom. I don't think there's enough justification to do a trilogy out of anything. But
So I do think they could do a trilogy out of it. Just hear me out.
okay,
So he gets a suit, does one movie in the suit, full suit, going through the ups and downs of being in that suit and what it's going to do to him. One movie.
right.
You get your second movie. He still has it, but now he understands he has to get rid of it. He gets rid of it. It goes finds a new host. Now, chances are they're not going to do an Eddie Brock host in the MCU. They can do the dude who's Scorpion because he has been a
Yeah.
host for the symbiote. They could go that route.
Or I was even thinking maybe an Agent Venom kind of route.
So I think if they go Agent Venom, I think you still get that movie and a half.
Yeah.
But now your character building on that side too. So I think they could do a trilogy. I just don't know. Yeah, they probably won't.
Because you have to remember, we still got Secret Wars, Secret Invasion, and what's that? I feel like there was one more big arc in production.
We got Armor Wars, Secret Invasion.
Because I think they did drop it. They referenced Nick Fury being off planet in the Spider-Man movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
They have Fantastic Four is John Watts, who did the Spider-Man trilogy here. He is now going to be working on Fantastic Four, so that's being set up now. But those are the major ones I know are coming. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, but
yeah,
Secret Invasion is a big one, and then you got your second season of What If and Loki.
Yeah.
So, and Armor Wars I mentioned earlier, which I think is going to be a lot more important to what people are going to expect from it.
But I see what you're saying. I see, they can do a trilogy. I just feel like they got a lot they can do right now, and I feel like they just need to centralize one focus. Because I even think, I could be wrong, at the end of the movie when Doctor Strange is trying to hold back everybody from breaking through, that one main silhouette that's like the main one you see, that looked like Craven to me a little bit. Yeah.
It was. And Craven is one that I've been like, so we got Mysterio. That was one that I've been wanting for years.
Yeah.
Craven was the other one that I've been wanting for years. And there is Aaron Johnson, who played Quicksilver in Kick-Ass. He is going to be Craven. So
they're taking all the skinny guys and revamping them, because you got you got the guy that's about to play Adam Warlock, which I didn't expect, and then there's another one. Oh, freaking Robert Pattinson as Batman, which I still don't know if I'm 100% on board with, but I'm just gonna go with it.
Yeah, I'm there for it. I'm just not sure, because everything like overall looks fun. It looks good.
Yeah.
But I don't like his version of Bruce Wayne.
Look, I know. Yeah, I think he might be a good Batman. I don't know if he'll be a good Bruce Wayne.
And I think that's a very important aspect, though. It depends on what story you're going to, kind of pull off of as well. And I have been wanting an updated Riddler story. So
it still looks kind of dark and gritty, almost kind of still Frank Miller-ish, Yeah.
So I'm expecting that to do well. Just because it's Batman, everybody's going to go check it out. I think it's just a matter of, is there going to be more? Because we still got Flashpoint.
I mean, Zoe Kravitz, Colin Farrell, yeah,
it's got so much going on in casting, great acting across the board, and it looks like a good story. I mean, it looks like it's going to be a solid mind fuck. So I'm in for that. I just, like I said, I'm always wondering what Warner Brothers is doing, because they've got this movie, then they got Flashpoint coming up with Michael Keaton, and I believe Affleck is coming back as Batman. So there's too much.
But I mean, chaos. That's just DC comic taking movie from. I was never even a fan of New 52 when they did all that. Like, I feel like just DC Comics as a whole has always been somewhat of a kind of just fly by the seat of your pants type of deal.
Yeah, I actually started reading DC more when New 52 came about because it was a good start off point with some of the stories. But a lot of people weren't crazy about some of the things they did. So, they went to Rebirth. And I don't know, like, as far as anything they do movie wise, I just, the Snyder Cut I loved.
Yeah,
But
I thought it was great. I can't
yeah,
get people to watch it with me because it's 4 hours long, but
but it's paced really well because my
yeah.
wife and I watched it and we didn't feel like we watched 3 hours of it and it didn't feel like 3 hours.
And
So,
honestly, even the ending with the Jared Leto cameo, I like that. I wish
yeah,
they would continue more with that. I want to see a whole movie about
yeah, it would be interesting, but I don't think they're going to revisit that other than with this Flashpoint movie. And I think if that does well, maybe they'll play with this some more. But at this point, it's like, look, man, just entertain me. I don't
yeah.
care. Just don't embarrass me. Don't make me. Don't do Batman and Robin. You know, don't make me spend money on a movie that I'm going to ultimately.
Hey,
I haven't seen
I'm
that movie.
discovering more and more people who that movie has a cult following. People love Batman and Robin.
That's wild. That's I don't. I have.
Bat nipples, cheesy, icy punchlines, and all. People love that movie.
I I don't know what to say to that. I I might watch it tonight just so I can get an understanding. But I'm fucking baffled now. That's I'm about to I'm about to fucking go on Google and I'm about to try to find some communities on Facebook. I'm about to infiltrate these motherfuckers.
It has a cult following. Actually, like I said, Batman and Robin and Ben Affleck Daredevil, I can still stomach.
Hey, that it's available for $5 on Prime. I almost bought it. I was tempted to buy it because I just felt like I only watched it the one time, and I feel like I need to
Yeah.
watch it again just so I can say
Michael
I gave
Clark
it a fair
Duncan,
shot.
he's no Vincent D'Onofrio, but he was a decent, kingpin.
When I look back on it, Colin Farrell as Bullseye was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think everyone was pretty. I didn't think Affleck was terrible. I just, I think the story was just a little. I don't know. The
Yeah.
story was kind of lacking.
But let's rein it back into Spider-Man. I don't want to trill because I can talk about
Yeah,
everything
yeah,
under the sun.
yeah,
I want to see more Willem Dafoe. I doubt that'll happen, but I thought his performance was great.
yeah. He stole the show. I think.
Yeah.
Um, like him, and I think everyone did great. Andrew Garfield, which I didn't care for the Amazing Spider-Man myself personally. The second one I liked because this is a veteran Spider-Man now in the
Mm-hmm.
suit, and you can now understand the confidence. But
Yeah.
I'd be in to see, somehow, some way more Willem Dafoe, um, and Andrew Garfield. Honestly,
That was actually a big teary-eyed moment for me too when he was just going over when Tom Holland was going over all the anger he felt. He had just lost Aunt May, and Andrew and Toby were just there, kind of just like, bro, we've been there, and finishing his sentences and everything. Like, bro, like we get it. We're probably the only people who do get it. Like,
I think that was something they did really well with this movie. Is what we've always had with Tom Holland's Spider-Man is there's been action, there's been adventure, but there's never been any tragedy. So
yeah,
once we finally got tragedy, he doesn't have his mentors there anymore.
no, they're
Tony's
all gone.
gone. Doctor
Shaft, not
Strange.
Shaft. Nick Fury's gone. He's just the trench coat. He's just Shaft, and it's just
Yeah, it's superhero Shaft. That's all.
yeah.
But all his mentors are gone. So to have Toby and Andrew there to kind of say like, look, we know what
Especially
you're going
Toby
through.
stopping him from like going too far with that. I was like, wow, because Toby was there himself.
Yeah,
So I'm using
it,
the actors'
it's
names, not the characters' names, but you know what I mean.
yeah. I mean, that's really the only way to go at this point. And
Yeah.
if anybody gets upset and say you spoiled it, I mean, then that means you don't listen to every episode because I spoiled it last week too. So
Yeah.
get over it. But I think that moment was brilliant. I think, and there are rumors. Like we don't know anything yet, but there's rumors of Andrew Garfield coming back. He says he wants to come back. They say so. It'd be interesting to see that happen. and then also whatever they're going to do with Tom Holland, because right now you got potentially two Spider-Men running around. I don't know if Toby's going to get another movie. I doubt it. But
yeah, he's probably done with it. He probably came back for this one and was like,
I will say this: I would be interested in just a one-off of seeing Toby's Spider-Man as a grown-up Spider-Man, and seeing the family, and seeing Mayday Parker, and seeing his daughter.
yeah, I would like a similar plot to the animated Into the Spider-Verse, which at off jump, I was a little disappointed that we didn't get a Miles, cameo, but he's killing. They already got the animated sequel. I'll take that.
Well,
But
Jamie Foxx mentioned them too, though. So
that was one of my favorite lines. Because then you had Donald Glover was Prowler in Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah.
Or Uncle Aaron. I mean, I don't know if he's actually going to be Prowler, but yeah, he was Uncle Aaron in Homecoming. So, like I said, they keep dropping little things here and there. I just want to see him actually materialize.
I had a theory, just because 2 weeks or a week before the movie dropped, they dropped the Spider-Verse 2 teaser.
Yeah.
And I was like, I feel like the post-credit might be a connection between Spider-Verse and No Way Home. And if we somehow get that interconnect, it didn't happen, sadly.
Yeah.
But too much going on, so you don't want to oversaturate. But
last topic before we wrap it up. Ned, is he going to be the next Sorcerer Supreme, or is he going to be Hobgoblin like the comics?
I want him to be Hobgoblin, because they hinted, both Toby and Andrew said, I ended up fighting my best friend, and both the best friends became a goblin. So
yeah,
I need Ned to become Hobgoblin. It just Disney tries not to retread, but I just feel like this is one that they may have to do.
You have to.
So I don't know, but we'll see. I mean, there's so much left to do. There's so many different stories to tell. I mean, especially with Spider-Man. Spider-Man came out in 1963, so we've got what we'll talk about 50 years. Maybe my math is fucking shitty. I don't know, but nearly 50 years of material. So there's so much that they could do with these stories.
So much.
Whether it be reboots or just kind of building upon previous stuff, but there's a lot that they could do, and I like that Disney and the Marvel Studios and Sony are all working together.
My what I really need once the X-Men finally get introduced to the universe, I need as much Spider-Man and Wolverine banter they can give me.
So I'm wondering if they're going to give us. Go ahead.
No, I've heard, again, rumor, clickbait, that Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman are making a cameo in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times, and I'm in. Like, do it. Yeah. I'm not crazy about anything coming over from Fox, but do it. Just entertain me, clown. Just entertain me.
That was another one. I couldn't sit through New Mutants or Dark Phoenix.
So New Mutants, I might
have to give New Mutants another chance.
I went into New Mutants with very, very low expectations, and I went into it also trying to think of it as not connected to the X universe. I'm a big New Mutants fan, so I had some heart into this. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it though either. And I will, I watch it from time to time. I watch Dark Phoenix just to get angry, and Apocalypse, and X-Men 3.
But
when I want to get mad, I watch
sit through 3 and Apocalypse. Dark Phoenix comes on, and like halfway through, I was like, nope, I'm done. I just let it play in the background, and I started doing something else.
Same. So I do check in for the train scene. That train scene is always fun.
Yeah.
Because it was good action, but it's still a shitty movie. I just want them, when they do bring them over, to respect the characters. So that's all. That's what I want.
They did Mystique dirty. I rewatched the old 90s X-Men out of excitement for them rebooting it in a few years. And I was like, man, they could have done so much with Mystique, and they just dropped the ball.
Dude, I think Fox just did whatever they wanted. They didn't even care. They're just like,
No
fuck it.
connection to like Rogue or Nightcrawler, like barely any connection to Magneto. They just changed their whole backstory. I was just
And there are two movies with Mystique and Nightcrawler in it.
and
Two.
like yes.
And wait, no, three of them technically.
Well, yeah, if you count Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix.
Yep, and then X-Men 2.
Yeah, X-Men 2.
And not once did they even mention, hey, that might be your mom.
Yeah,
like at all, nothing. So,
even brought his dad in First Class.
Yeah, they had all the pieces right there. And then when Mystique ran off with Magneto and the crew, I was like, oh shit,
all right, okay.
Like, we're moving in the right direction. I still hated the ideal of First Class being what it was, but I enjoyed the movie as a movie. So, I don't know, man. It's that, like, on the one side of the coin, we're like, look, Sony, Marvel Studios, Disney, they're doing a bang up job, and it's like, then there's Fox, who just says, fuck it. Just
technically Disney now, but
yeah, I mean, they still got that bullshit. Fucking, they let it happen though.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Bryan Singer's a fan. No, he's not.
No.
Like, if he was a fan, he would have fucking done the movies right, dickhead.
Like, the first three movies were his interpretation. Like, I get it, but then he just kept going.
Yeah. It's like, and then he leaves to go do Superman Returns.
Yeah.
And let X-Men 3 become what it became. And it's like, come on, dude. This is what we're doing? Like, you're just going to leave in the middle, dickhead. Like, instead, he's like, no, I'm going to go do Superman, which I need to watch that again just so I can give it a fair chance. But, and then when he came back and did Days of Future Past, good stuff. Apocalypse, not so much. But,
yeah, Days of Future Past was great.
Yeah.
Except for them turning Mystique into the hero. But other than that,
I think I want to watch something tonight, but I think my wife and I have to watch White Zombie. 1932 zombie movie, the first zombie movie. So I think we're gonna get into that tonight.
Might have to jump onto your horror page because I don't do too much horror, but I enjoy anything with vampires or zombies. Those are my two. Like, I'll watch anything with those.
So our February episode will be zombies. The first episode is just kind of introducing the host.
Yeah.
It's going to be my wife, myself, and two other friends, Marilyn Phil, who's actually on the last episode with me doing the Spider-Man recap. And then we are going to basically once a month do an episode. My wife and I will do a zombie episode for February. And we've watched all of our zombie movies except for White Zombie. We'll do that tonight. And then we're going to record upcoming. And I'll let you know when that one's dropping. But yeah, follow. It's called So You Like Horror on Instagram. It's like underscores in between each word.
No, I got the original invite, but like I said, I don't do a lot of horror movies, so I didn't think it was going to be anything for me. But like I said, I'll jump in, give it a shot.
Yeah, I try to keep it team. I try to put info, but every so often you'll get some memes and some silly shit. But I try to put info. There's a new Insidious coming out, so I just put that info out there. So it has its life. But let's go ahead and wrap up here in our days. Joe, thank you for doing this. You have any shout outs or mentions you want to drop in here?
Thanks for having me first and foremost. So I guess my first shout out has to go out to you, Dante. We've been rocking for the last 5 or 6 years. We damn near started together. I think I might have like a year or two on you, shout out to my team, Crazy 88, everybody that's come up with me. Shout out to everybody back home in Chicago. I'm a Maryland boy now, but I don't forget where I came from. I probably spent an equal part of my life in both spots now. So I guess, I can claim both. Other than that, man, I hope to come back soon. Everybody listening, hope you enjoy what I had to say. And I hope to keep giving you more content, more awesome content. Look for me on Instagram, social media, Joe Huggins, Huggy Bear, XV. That's the Roman numeral, XV, like the number 15. And just, see what I do, jiu-jitsu and nerdy stuff.
I'll put all that info in the show notes as well, so people can find you. And just kind of a point out here. Huggies from Chicago. I'm from Detroit. Normally, I don't let Chicago shout outs happen on here. I'm gonna let it happen this one time, but I know a couple other people from Chicago. They're not even allowed on the show. So
I'm honored, then. I'm honored. Thank you. Thank you.
But thank you again, and thank you to everyone who's been listening. There's been an uptick in downloads, and I definitely appreciate that. Like I said at the beginning, Huggies episode actually just took off. Just it was doing well before, but it like out of this will be episode 89, I believe. So out of 88 episodes prior to this one, like you're fucking number 2. So thank you.
Man, I'll take that. I'll start promoting it more and get my voice out there.
Yeah, I mean, like everybody's got a voice, So thank you everybody for all the listens. If you have any questions, concerns, reach out to me. I'm on Instagram under bjj.wiki and Off the Mats podcast on Instagram. I think I forgot to do this the last 2 weeks, so I forgot what I'm supposed to say. Also, be on the lookout for the new horror podcast. So you like horror? All the words are separated by underscores, and the new episode. By the time you all hear this, the new episode is already out. You can find it on iTunes and iTunes, what the fuck, Spotify, things like that. So, check that out. And also, I got too many podcasts. Columpton Social Club. Go check that out too. We review beers, and get drunk. And then Nerd Rage Radio, the biggest shout out. And I don't want to forget my other shout out to my friends over there, Armbar Attic, Eric and Allie. So thank you guys, and thank you everyone. You guys keep listening, and I will keep making the show. Thanks, people. Bye.
Deeper with it. Now let me sing a song.